I know that what is on everyone's mind is the Wolverine PS5 release date, but how about this? Should we even care that this Marvel's Wolverine game is even coming out? And I don't mean to be dramatic, but if you recognize patterns and you look at what's going on in the world today, and especially Insomniac Games, the developers who will be bringing us Wolverine for the PS5, I have reason to be concerned, so I want to talk about that down below. Now, before I do get into it, just in case you're new here, I don't want you to think this is a drama channel and this is what I focus on. This week alone, we have discussed Tenchu, the PlayStation VR 2, Sonic, Harry Potter, the Avatar game coming out, right? So I discussed a little bit of everything. By the way, if you appreciate a random ass YouTuber, hit now and subscribe while you remember. But let me talk about my concern for the Wolverine game coming out on the PS5, which is going to have a release date either the end of 2024 or 2025. Let's talk about the people making the game. Insomniac Games are actually fantastic developers historically. They made the Resistance series, they made the Ratchet & Clank series, they made of course the Spider-Man games of recent, and Spyro the Dragon. You would assume it would be in safe hands for them to be the ones to do the Marvel's Wolverine game, right? They would bring it out, it would have great gameplay and great graphics, and frankly, I think that much is true. I think when Wolverine does come out for the PS5, I expect it to look phenomenal. And if it looks anything less than phenomenal, I'm gonna rat on it. I'm not gonna be impressed, right? Spider-Man 2 visually looks absolutely fantastic. Ratchet & Clank, their PS5 efforts visually, graphically, have been very impressive, definitely pushing that bar. So what is my problem? Well, I'm going to say it, and I do apologize if certain people get upset here in this next part, but please be adults, be mature. I'm not going to pretend that patterns that are happening right in front of our faces are not happening. And that is the fact that Insomniac Games went woke. Now, again, this isn't a political channel, but this is the gaming industry, right? I love the gaming industry. I'm very good at recognizing patterns, and I've seen all this coming for a long time coming. Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics, but most people know that Spider-Man 2 was very left-leaning, was very political, pushing. There's heavy evidence, countless evidence inside the game of them pushing certain messages and certain values within the entirety of Spider-Man 2. I won't get into the specifics. There's been more than enough videos from other people who have already done that, including the writers themselves openly admitting it all as well. So this isn't conspiracy crazy hearsay. Now, there is a difference between you liking the political messages that they've been put in and you disliking it. Just because you may like it doesn't mean it's not there. Why do I bring that up? Well, Wolverine. What is Wolverine? An angry white man. An angry white man with freaking claws. Now, I don't like thinking this way along the lines, right? I don't like thinking about political stuff because, as I've said a million times before on this channel, politics don't belong in gaming. But do you honestly think that Insomniac Games, after they wokeified Spider-Man 2, heavily, openly, and proudly, let's not pretend it's not happening, don't get upset at the messenger, it is open for everyone to see, it's definitely happened, even if you happen to agree with it or not. But when I think of Marvel's Wolverine, right, there's a white man, he's masculine, he's unapologetic, and he's violent. Do you think for a second that Insomniac Games is not going to mess with the story something stupid and change everything we know about Logan, about Wolverine, right? The appeal of Wolverine is his no F's given, right? He is the prime example of masculinity, even in the bad sort of way, where nothing can stop him. He will do whatever he wants, and the whole story arc is watching him rein that in because he's literally like a part beast, part man sort of thing, you know? And a wonderful character as well. Actually, Wolverine is my favorite character. I've liked him from a young age. I think the claws sticking out of his hands, fantastic. And I love the fact that this game has been confirmed that it will have a mature rating, right? That is very important because he stabs people. If all of that is taken away, well, then it's hardly going to be a Wolverine game. But we know Insomniac is not going to respect the source material and is going to push a lot of their messaging. Again, doesn't matter if you agree with the messaging, overall messaging shouldn't be pushed in video games. Video game source material should be respected. You know what should be pushed in a Wolverine game? Wolverine's values. Not mine, not yours, not some funny writers. Wolverine's values should be pushed. The value of that universe, whatever the context is, that's what should be pushed forward. And again, is a muscly white man who resorts to violence every chance he gets. I'm gonna say it. I think we're going to be really upset by the time this game comes out because it's going to be more messaging than an actual good product. Do I, again, think that the graphics will look fantastic and that it may have good gameplay? Yeah, absolutely. Do I believe that Wolverine is probably going to be demasculated at every single turn while trying to make a public example out of the figure? Absolutely. Do I think they would do a very poor job at respecting the source material and whatever Logan's values are, putting that forward in the game as opposed to how they feel? No, I think they're going to be disrespectful, and we haven't seen anything yet, but I thought I'd get this video out there early enough so then when the information does come out and you start recognizing certain trends and certain patterns, it's going to happen. Unfortunately, a lot of developers are going down this road where they're more focused on what they can tweet about, or you call it X or whatever these days, where they're more focused on what they can tweet about as opposed to being grateful for their jobs and being respectful towards the source material. If the Wolverine character was by default political and he was left-leaning or right-leaning or whatever it's meant to be, right? But for the sake of woke discussion, let's pretend Wolverine is woke. Let's pretend this is his thing. Then I would actually want that in the game because it's about respecting whoever the game is about. It's about Wolverine. If he's interested in the social discussions that we have these days and things have gone really weird, cool. Have that in the game. I would actually be upset if it wasn't in there. But we know Logan isn't like that at all. We know Wolverine has his own demons and his own story and his own arc and his own values and his own this and his own that. I don't think that's going to be respected at all by Insomniac Games unless something internally drastically changes between those that are the story writers and all the things and messaging that they're pushing these days. Unless there's a cull, unless there's a massive change of things, Wolverine is going to be but a shell of what Wolverine is. It shouldn't be okay just in case you happen to agree with those values. Those things don't belong in video games. Politics don't belong in video games, and it's unfortunate that we even have to have these discussions, but we keep seeing it happen time and time and again with different developers. I don't want to focus on politics. It irritates me that occasionally I even have to do these sort of videos, but it's very important to highlight the fact that these things are happening so other people are aware of it. So then later on when you do see it and you do look at Wolverine, you're like, that's a weird thing to have in that game. What's going on? Eventually you fall down the YouTube rabbit hole being like, okay, certain things are pushed and it shouldn't be. Respect the source material. Stop pushing your worldviews onto IPs. It doesn't help the product at all. I just think it's rude. I just think it's uncool, you know? I mean, you have the honor. And honor. Yes, let's be grateful in 2023. I know humility isn't really a really popular thing. But you have the honor of working on a Wolverine game. You could make something truly remarkable and just have Wolverine be a name that everyone cares about once again, with cutting-edge graphics and everything. Like, the possibilities are endless, and you can give us a very mature story compared to how deep and dark you can get with the typical Spider-Man game. There is a huge opportunity here, because it's meant to be all about games. Remember games? When the game was just a game? That's all I'm saying. I want the game to be a game. Alright, God bless you all. Bye bye.